Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ray, and welcome to the RayWenderlich.com podcast. In this podcast, we'll keep you up to date with the latest app development tech talk. Now, here are your hosts, Dru Freeman and Alex Sullivan.
Thanks, Ray. This is the Ray Wenderlich podcast. Welcome back for episode 0 of season 10. Now, this episode was recorded on Tuesday, the 28th of January, for release on the 12th of February, 2020. I'm Dru Freeman, returning for my 4th season on the Ray Wenderlich podcast, and
I'm Alex Sullivan, your Season 10 co-host. In this episode, you'll get to meet the Season 10 hosts, and we'll give you a look at what's coming up this season.
Alex, welcome to the show. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You have broken the tradition. You are not named Jay, unless you're J. Alex Sullivan, which we could do for starters.
That's true. Yeah, we had talked a little bit about me changing my name, and unfortunately, I didn't go through with that. Still,
the paperwork is really long and very expensive. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, I didn't want to change insurance forms, so that was it.
Oh, that'll do it. Just too much paperwork. That's always a reason not to do it. So,
exactly.
Alex was one of the people who auditioned this season to be our regular host for season 10, and managed to pass muster with that. So, yeah. Alex, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, yeah. So I'm Alex. I've been working with Ray, the Ray Wenderlich website for, a couple years now. I think about 2 years. Done lots on the Android side, a few articles, helped to write an adaptation for the RX Swift book, reactive programming with Kotlin. And recently I've been doing some video series around testing with Mach K. In my free time, I like to do generic millennial things like play video games and watch Netflix.
Yeah, we talked about this. So you got to answer me this. The avocado toast thing is real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's real. It's fantastic.
See, I like avocado, and I like toast. Of course, avocado only has that shelf life of like 30 seconds from the time you open it until it spoils. So that's it. You just take avocado, smear it on toast, and go for it. Yeah,
exactly. You put a little bit of salt in there. Makes a pretty big difference to have the salt in there, but like it is phenomenal. Put an egg on there, you're done. Game over. That's why I can't buy a house. Too many avocados.
And of course, we're both East Coast, so we're not actually getting true California avocados in their true native habitat.
Yeah. I think all the avocados that we get have been frozen, thawed 7 or 8 times by the time they get here. So I don't even know if they're avocados anymore. They're probably some other
filed, processed, numbered.
Yeah, exactly. Reconstructed. It's actually guacamole that they then fused back together with old coconut shells.
Oh, these are GMO with 5 Gs at the beginning of them.
Exactly.
All right. So this season, last season when we were on the show, we pretty much did a whole bunch of iOS episodes, and then we did a whole bunch of Android episodes, and it kind of confused people as to when to listen and all of that, because they figured, well, maybe an Android show will be coming. So we're actually going to be alternating this season. We'll do an iOS show, we'll do a Kotlin show, an Android show, an iOS show, an Android show. And as you can tell, Alex is here to do color commentary on the Android side.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to that, because I'm still working on getting my Android chops up to muster. And I got to run for my money here, because you also know some of the iOS stuff. So.
I do, yeah. I've got like some familiarity with the iOS side of things. It's the sort of thing where every time I touch an iOS project, I kind of have to relearn Swift. So I'm sure I'll still be in the back seat on that side of things.
Have to remember how to spell funk.
Yeah, exactly. I have to write fun a few times, see that it's not working, wonder why it's not working for a long time, and then finally figure it out.
What's the Kotlin rule on semicolons? Does Kotlin use semicolons?
Nope, no semicolons. We are also out of the semicolon game.
So what is it? It's var and val instead of var and let, right?
Yep, exactly.
And we'll be talking about all this stuff as the season goes on, but we're going to dive in next episode 1 for the season. We're going to have a look into Swift UI, the new reactive UX system or UI system from Apple that came out at WWDC. Yeah. And we've got Laurie Gray coming on. This season, we're going to be pulling a lot of the a lot of the different books off the Ray Wenderlich shelf that have come out in the past year, because between Google I/O and WWDC, there's just been so many technologies that have spilt out.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
You have the list in front of you as well. What do we have coming up for episode number 2 in about 4 weeks?
Yeah, for episode 2, we've got saving data on Android and just kind of exploring the realm of storage on Android, which will be very exciting.
That is great. And we're actually going to bring back Jen Bailey from last season to do that show.
We can continue the gens.
So let's see. As far as iOS, we're also going to talk about Combine. We're going to talk about SwiftUI in production. Let's see. We've got Fastlane and Catalyst coming up later in the season. As always, we'll also have the WWDC Insta show that'll come on the first night after the keynote, so we can say, okay, here's all the new stuff that we got this year, or maybe after last year we're not getting any new stuff. We're just going to say, okay, now let's clean this stuff up and see how usable it is for the next year. Can you tell us about some of the other Android shows coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to saving data on Android, we're also going to explore Kotlin coroutines, test-driven development in Android. We're going to take a look at Flutter, which I'm going to pop in there, even though it's not specifically Android. I feel like a lot of Android developers are really excited about Flutter. Maybe because it's Google.
What is Flutter anyway?
Flutter is a cross-platform UI framework, basically. It's written in Dart. It's a kind of a competitor to like React Native, and it's also made by Google. Astoundingly enough, they're competing with themselves for how to build apps on Android.
Yeah, that sounds about normal. You see, at least with SwiftUI, it's an alternative method to doing UI. There's 4 or 5, depending on what you need to do with your UI. If you're doing games, you can use SceneKit. If you're doing 3D, you can use SpriteKit. Or did I get those two backwards? I probably got them backwards. You have standard UI kit. You'll have SwiftUI. There's just a lot of choices there, but it's not really. Yeah. They keep saying we're not obviating anything yet.
Yeah, that's interesting. On the Android side, they're also doing Jetpack Compose, which will also be similar to SwiftUI, like a reactive sort of UI toolkit. And that's different from Flutter. So there will kind of be 3 ways to build Android apps, all endorsed and developed by Google and kind of competing with each other. So that's really fun.
And like WWDC, we'll also go to Google I/O and see what kind of new things are coming out of there, and that should be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Very exciting.
We got some amazing things introduced last year, and even though I don't do a lot of Android development, or I don't really do any Android development, I was just fascinated with a lot of what I learned. We do have 3 special episodes coming at the end of the season, and we don't really want to spill the beans on those yet, but I think they're going to be 3 really, really good episodes to tune in for. So is there anything that you're excited about? Are you terrified about? How do you feel about the upcoming season?
I'm really excited about lots of stuff. I'm really excited to learn a little bit about SwiftUI. I kind of poked my nose around there and discovered I didn't know how to do anything, so I immediately ran away.
Well, better to poke your nose at it than thumb your nose at it. So
yeah, exactly. There we go. I'm also really excited for test-driven development, Kotlin coroutines. Actually, I'm excited for every episode we have on the list here. So yes.
And I'm glad that we're going to actually spend some time on Fastlane, which is a really great way to automate your process on the iOS side and the Apple side in general, because now there's so much that's combined on the Apple side that you can almost create for all of Apple's platforms at once in one piece of software. And I really think that's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. You can use Fastlane on Android too, which is wonderful.
I didn't know Fastlane was for Android. That's going to be a good episode.
That's going to be a great one.
All right, let's see. And like we said, most of these things are coming off the Ray Wenderlich bookshelf. So a lot of them, of course, once we do the show and the show notes that we have after the show, you can see where the books are that are available, some of the available tutorials that we've done as well. And hopefully you'll also be able to get some of the authors to hit any of your questions on the forums as well. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So let's see. So we always we talk about tech so much. Besides avocado toast, tell me about some of the pastimes you have when you're not actually nose deep in a computer.
That's a good question. Are people ever not nose deep in computers anymore?
I am told there are people like them.
Astounding. Let's see. What do I do in my free time? Usually I'm nose deep in a computer. Other than video games, which keeps me, again, nose deep in a computer. Lately what's
your video game choice? Are you more into first-person shooters? Are you?
No. So I discovered once I got past my teenage years, I can no longer compete with the teenagers in first-person shooters, so I've given those up entirely. Lately, I've been playing a lot of MOBAs, like League of Legends or Heroes of the Storm, and then lots of different single-player games that I've been really getting into. XCOM 2 in particular is a phenomenal game.
I'm getting my knowledge of video games re-elevated again because mine also sort of stopped when the teenagers started beating my brains out. But then I got more active as I developed a teenager myself. And right now it's all Minecraft, it's all Roblox, it's Fortnite and stuff like that.
Yeah. Fortnite is one of those games where I saw it coming up. It looks like it's a lot of fun, and I'm 100% sure that I will not be able to compete with anyone in it, so I've just let it go from afar.
My son dragged me into it, and I was surprised. The first thing I did was I did manage to kill somebody.
Wow.
Which is just like, yay, excitement. I killed another player. But, I didn't need the strongest way possible. I found a building. I hid in the building under a set of stairs. And
I like that.
When the person came out, I was just like, I have no honor.
So how long did you hide there for? Was it like a 20-minute sitting there, tense mode? Sort of?
No, it was like there were other people outside the building, and I was like, I'll duck into the building. That'll be a good, safe thing to do.
Oh, wow. My instinct would be to panic and die.
And what's isn't there a Ryan Reynolds film coming out where he discovers that he's actually a character in one of these Fortnite-like games?
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that. It actually looked really interesting. He's kind of pleasant and happy, and all these horrible things happen in his world. Yeah, that looked very interesting.
And he suddenly discovers, wait, I'm in a video game, and all of a sudden now he's the savior to save everybody who's getting blown up all the time.
Naturally.
Yeah. So I don't get to do a lot of gaming, but I do a lot of films, a lot of television because, inactive is the way to go once the beard gets too long to lift off the sofa.
I like it.
Yeah, we may or may not have lots of science fiction references throughout the show.
Ooh, I hope so. That makes me excited.
You a Doctor Who fan?
I am a Doctor Who fan, though I've only watched the newest incarnation of it. I haven't watched any of the older incarnations of Doctor Who, and I haven't.
Are you current on it?
No, I'm several seasons behind. I'm trying to remember who was the last Doctor.
Capaldi, the older gray-haired man.
Did not see him.
Matt Smith, the young guy with the huge chin.
Yep, saw all the way through the Matt Smith era.
Yeah, so Matt Smith came in as a really young doctor, and a lot of people were worried after Tennant that he would not necessarily hold up the strength of the show, but
he did great.
Smith came in, and he was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
As you can see, we have digressed way off of computers for this episode, and that's what episode 0 is. We want you to get an idea who we are. As always, when we post these episodes up, we do look forward to your comments. We are recording visually because we post them audio-wise on the podcast stream, and then a week or 3 later, we actually post the video, which will have the entire episode because we go long. This is only meant to be about 10, 15 minutes, but if we go long, at least on YouTube, you'll be able to watch the entire thing.
I like that.
Well, TV shows you're watching?
Ooh, TV shows I'm watching. Oh, yes. Yeah, I've got a TV show I'm watching. My wife and I have been watching The Great British Baking Show. We're on about season 7. Have you ever seen it?
I've seen 1 or 2 episodes.
Oh, it's amazing. It's wonderful because it's the sort of so the basis of the TV show is it's all of the best amateur bakers from across the UK, I think. And they come together in this wonderfully pleasant competition where everyone's kind to each other, everyone helps each other out, and they just try to bake wonderful things. And I love it because it has like a little bit of the competitive edge to it, but everyone's nice. It's a joyful thing. It's not like, I feel like all of the sort of cooking reality shows, at least that come out of the US, are very cutthroat, and it's all like hyper high stress and somebody shouting at somebody else. But the Great British Baking Show is just pleasant and wonderful. So we've been consuming that nonstop.
I can't imagine which chef you may be referring to. Yeah, I can see him clearly, and I'm not going to name him because I just can't remember his name. And here I am. I'm at the opposite end of the pole. When I'm looking for just relaxing television, I watch American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, I love American Ninja Warrior too.
It's a great show because it's people competing against themselves, and everybody is rooting for them. Even if there's a possibility of being eliminated, they are still cheering each other on, and there's such camaraderie in that field. And I wish it had been around 35 years ago when my body was shaped differently and I had a lot more agility.
Yeah, I have a former coworker who's very big into Ninja Warrior, goes to Ninja Warrior gyms and competes, and it looks like an absolute blast.
What city?
Boston.
Okay, yeah, you're Boston-based.
Yep. Yeah.
And I am still Pittsburgh-based, as far as we can tell for a while. Yeah, I know there's a lot of good ninja gyms in Boston, a lot of really good folks. They're reducing the number of cities this year down to only about 3.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why that is.
They're gonna extend the amount of filming they do in each city.
Cool. Do you know what the 3 cities are?
Washington, DC, LA, and something in the Midwest. I don't remember what that one was.
Cool. Well, that sounds fun.
So yeah, not that we're advertising for A&W on the show. We are looking forward to season 10. We've got so much coming up, and we're looking forward to recording it. We're looking forward to sharing it with you on both the audio stream and on YouTube.
I just want to say I'm super excited for the rest of the season. Really jazzed about the people we have coming on the show.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 1. Swift UI, and until then, we'll go back to the Emerald Castle. Ray, back to you.
And that's a wrap. Thanks again, everybody, for listening to the RayWenderlich.com podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to leave a rating on iTunes. See you next time.